we are making mac and cheese, adult version mac and cheese, jalapeno popper mac and cheese. So this is going to be like a spin on like every kid's dream meal, which is hot dogs and mac and cheese, except we're going to elevate the dish to chicken sausage and jalapeno that kind right there. This thing, jalapeno popper mac and cheese. All right, so instead of bacon, we are going to use beef sausage. Basically, we're just going to cut this up so it crisps up, kind of like a bacon substitute. It is not spicy as jalapenos are. It never fails that every time I cut jalapenos, I will immediately like touch my eyes or touch my mouth, and you know. So I wear gloves. I want these little like crunchy rings on top. Yeah. After when I bake it, I'm gonna throw these on top. And so the other ones I'm actually gonna saute into the cheese sauce. So the funny thing about macaroni and cheese is it's actually just like gravy, like cheese flavored gravy on top of noodles. So it's not really a fancy thing. All right, so we're gonna use this afterwards. And then I'm just gonna leave these seeds in here because the seeds are gonna make it spicier. All right, so I found these super cool chicken sausages from Costco. These are two different types of sausages, and I've got, what kind are these? Grilled onion and white cheddar is this one, and then the one with green is mango jalapeno. So these are my sophisticated hot dogs that we're going to use for this. All right, so, and I left my jalapeno gloves and the knife because it does, the flavor gets on it, the oils get on it. If you've ever tried to cut up garlic and then you go to cut up something that you don't want the garlic on, you're gonna taste the garlic because the oils and stuff stays on the board, stays on the knife, stays on your hands. So if you don't want the flavors to transfer, you need to switch everything out. So, like I said, we're doing grown-up mac and cheese here. So, again, love some Costco. I found this pepper jack cheese since we're wanting to make it spicy, and then I got cheddar just because to give it a little stronger flavor. Pepper jack cheese, the jack part of the cheese is very mild, and I think part of what makes a more elevated macaroni and cheese is having that like hard, harsh, kind of biting taste versus the real like American cheese style cheese, Velveeta, things that are real mild and bland. Then it's like, can you make too much sauce when you cook? Like, can you? Is it like, that's too much gravy? Do you say that? No. Is that too much cheese? No. Like, you don't say those things. Like, go to France. I mean, it's like everything's a soup. You know, it's fine. So it's just, like, if you use too much, you say, this is French inspired. And it's fine. Yeah. Okay, listen. You dump this crap out before you put like freaking too much. Don't do this. Wrong. So the thing with pre-shredded cheese is in order for it to not look, see, it's gonna stick, right? Because I could really like squish it back together and it would like go into a ball. So when they shred cheese commercially, they put an anti-caking agent and coat it so that you can have those nice stringy pieces. Well, the problem with that is it affects the way it melts. We don't want it to hold a form. We want it to melt. So it is better. It's a little more time consuming, but it is better to go ahead and shred the cheese yourself. All right, so we're gonna transition over there. Okay. All right, so we're using cast iron, and cast iron can be a little tricky. Mainly I'm gonna use it tonight because I'm gonna finish this macaroni and cheese in the oven. So basically, I probably should get like, not my fingers. This is not smart. This pan is heating up now. You know, the big thing is you just really wanna get your cast iron hot because it's gonna retain heat really well. So once you get it hot, it's gonna stay a good temperature. So I'm gonna scoop this here. So the good part is this mac and cheese isn't gonna be like nice and white and pretty. Okay, it's gonna be kind of like rustic looking because all these scrapings off the bottom of this are going to affect the color. Put this in here. All right. I'm substituting this out for bacon, and so I'm gonna want it to get really crispy. So this thing about grease, stuff with grease on it, grease stays hot. You don't want to wait till this is crunchy to take it off, because if you do, you're gonna have like charred, nasty, overcooked. So you really want to take it out a little early before you're really ready for that to be done. Ow, ow, ow. All right, and then, you know, you put it on paper towels so it absorbs the grease, because as that grease still stays on there, it's gonna just keep on cooking. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna saute these jalapenos in this grease. And because these are wet, that's why it's really sizzling up. It has a lot of moisture in it. So I went back and forth, like, how should I do this jalapeno popper mac and cheese? So I thought about, okay, should I really do a jalapeno popper? Should I like open the jalapeno and stuff the macaroni and cheese in it? Thought about that. But then, you know, they're kind of little. But then I thought, well, I could fire roast the jalapenos, or I could saute them. So there's, I mean, this is the thing. There's not a wrong answer. And, you know, you just kind of do it and see what happens. And then decide, did you like that? Did you not? I turned the heat down because we are about to start putting dairy on the heat. And it's just easy to burn it, to mess it up, to curdle the milk, to get it all weird. So what you need is fat. Now, we do have a lot of fat in there, but I'm just gonna add a little bit more because butter is good. So the butter gives it a little more richness. All right, so now you don't want any, like, the bubbles are good, you just don't wanna go too far past that. So we're gonna add flour in here. And then we're just gonna incorporate it a little bit. So you kind of want to toast and kind of cook your flour. Just like let it sit in here for a second. The other thing is, when you are making stuff with flour, gravy, bread, really, if you are making anything with flour, you've got to put salt in there. I do use this evaporated milk. And the good thing about this is it's kind of rich, so it adds more richness, fullness to the recipe. So this is the thing. In order to make this whole milk, it's equal parts of the canned milk and equal parts water. So depending on how rich you want this recipe to be, you add the water if you feel like or not. And it's got a little bit of lumps in there, but that's okay. It's not like pure macaroni and cheese where just smooth creaminess, because it's got the jalapeno in it. It's gonna have this in it, it's gonna have the sausage, it's gonna have the pepper jack, so it's gonna have a little bit different consistency, so it's not like, it's not a big deal. So I'm gonna add water. So technically this is gonna make it whole milk. But I'm gonna add a little extra water here because I'm gonna cook my noodles in this sauce. And so a lot of the extra moisture is gonna be absorbed in the noodle. Found this at Costco, of course. I don't know, it said Italy on it, so that means it's better or something, probably. So I'm just gonna add this straight into here. You may have to go like risotto style on this because it's got the dairy and we don't want this to stick on the bottom because I turned it up to cook the noodles. So it's hot enough, we just need to kind of find that happy balance where we're not scalding the bottom, but we've got enough temp to cook the noodles thoroughly. So this is what I've decided. This macaroni and cheese is risotto. So the good news is it's probably gonna turn out really good. Bad news is it's like everything I make, turning out more time consuming than originally planned. And that's the thing about cooking. To me, it's just like experiment, you know, see what happens, see what you like, see what you don't like, kind of taste as you go and make adjustments. And eventually this is gonna cook. I mean, it's like science or something. It will cook. So we don't wanna go too far with these noodles because then they're gonna end up being mush and that's gonna be gross. So originally I had planned to put cream cheese, not cheesecake. No, because jalapeno poppers are jalapeno, cream cheese, bacon, cheddar usually. So I was gonna put cream cheese in this, but honestly it's way too creamy as it is that I think the cream cheese would just be like too much. So I'm gonna dump this whole thing back in here because I'm done cooking that. I'm gonna turn it off. We're gonna stir that in. We're gonna stir this cheese in on top of it. And we're just gonna kind of do part of it and see what we're working with here because, so this is now turning into jalapeno popper, risotto style pasta, bake. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just do all that because I want to. See, that's lovely. And I'm just gonna kind of lay these here because it looks cool. All right, and I'm gonna stop stirring this and we're gonna bake this. And I'm gonna leave it open because I want it to kind of brown on the top just a little bit. So, wow, that's heavy. Here we go. Now, that looks kind of cool. I'm gonna just kind of put some of this on here. So you want to put a little bit of both of these on here. And so what we have here is our adult version hot dogs. So we'll just see how it tastes. I mean, it's really good. A little spicy. I'm just not sure I would call it macaroni and cheese. It's almost like jalapeno cheesy casserole. But I guess macaroni and cheese is kind of casserole. Okay. Right? Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, one, that's a lot of freaking macaroni and cheese. That is a big flipping cast iron. It's good. And it's good. So we'll see what our taste panel thinks. Okay.
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. You know, Michael calls it jalapenos. That's really funny to me. Every time he says jalapenos, for a split second, I think, jalapenos, what kind of fancy, and then I'm like, jalapeno, I got it now. We'll just have to take all the good audio from last night and just run it over top of the whole thing. You actually can like not wear gloves or just use your gloved hand with the oils and just kind of like smear it in the eyes of people that you don't like or that are getting on your nerves.
Got a little pre-cut.
You can cook them that way. I definitely don't recommend it.
If you take a little bit longer between you and Colin, the cheese might be gone. So,
Have you tried it?
I have.
Okay, it's good, right?
Yes.
Because I swear everything takes like 20 minutes to cook. Okay. Now,
Show up.
this is the thing. I mean,
I think your sense of time might be.
I think I have no concept of time whatsoever. I always thought, you know, people are really inaccurate on their recipes when it says prep time, cook time, total time. And then at the end, it took me like way longer. I'm like, liars, like what the heck? Okay, now I'm wondering if maybe it was me the whole time.